I love it. If you're into that stuff, read it. But if you're not into that stuff, don't read it and don't be a hater. Okay?
Lo and behold, I heard the sounds of a tribute band playing Sugar We're Going Down for a soundtrack situation. And I was like, what is that? I love Fall Out Boy. So I've been on a bookbinding kick, and I'm going to now work on this guy.
I got a mic, or at least I got a mic months and months and months ago, and I'm finally deciding to use it. But hi, welcome to my new vlog. This new vlog, I guess. I don't know exactly when this is going out because I have like at least one video to go out before this. Anyway, I'm on the floor because I just filmed a tarot card TBR game, kind of informational video. And I didn't want to get up yet, but I have some updates already. I guess it's not necessarily updates. I'm gonna let you know what I've been reading currently, and also let you in on some of the books that are currently on my TBR that I just pulled for my tarot card TBR reading game, I guess, and give you updates on what I've been reading. That's what I was trying to say earlier. And updates on my life. So yeah, welcome. Welcome in. I feel like I have a weird energy because I was just talking for 40 minutes to the camera, and now I'm doing it again. And I don't know, it's kind of fun to like talk to like a little microphone. I feel like that gives me weirder energy, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, so I went to the county fair this weekend, and it was so much fun. I had so much good food. I saw little pigs and little goats and big cows and one little cow, and also a weird marionette play with like the Bob Baker marionette show. And it was very weird, but overall a great time. I'll have a little bit of like B-roll to go into this vlog probably after this little bit of intro. And other than that, I'm trying to think if there was like any other fun things that have really happened to me. Oh, and then me and my friend Raina filmed a little bit on Sunday. We had like a little family dinner on Sunday as well. And then I've just been chilling and reading ever since because the weekend kind of took it out of me. It was like, a lot of walking and a lot of good eating at the county fair. We were there for like over 6 hours, and then it was a lot of filming. So it was like go, go, go all weekend. And then for the evening of Sunday, I couldn't really relax, I guess. I couldn't kind of like recharge myself. I had to go and do like family stuff. But it was fun. It was super chill. And I've been reading a lot this week. So that's like what has been the biggest thing. I'm currently reading 2 books. I'm reading Sundown in San Ojuela by Olivas. I'm currently on page 92, so I'm making good progress. This book is about a girl named Liz Remolina, and she uh, has had a death in her family. Her favorite aunt has passed away, and she has to go back to kind of her hometown in San Ojuela, where her aunt owned this like beautiful, creepy Gothic hacienda, and she goes back with her sister Mary and her mother to kind of take care of like, all of the things that need to be taken care of when a person dies. But there are creepy things afoot. There are cattle mutilations and human sacrifices and other weird things that go bump in the night. And also, her old friend is there, and he's a little bit witchier than he was before. So, it is a desert town with a dark history, and apparently, like, ancient gods show up, and I don't know. It seems really interesting. It's so far a little bit, it's a little bit, it's not a tough read, but every other chapter almost, I get the point of view of this like cop who used to be an ICE agent, and he's not meant to be a a sympathetic character at all. But even so, it is really hard to kind of like want to read his perspective. Though there is like so much good nuance in it, and it is so fascinating and interesting. This book is definitely a commentary on like colonization, specifically like I think Mexican colonization, and the different kind of experiences a lot of people have when they are somewhat divorced from their culture, while be simultaneously like surrounded by that culture. It is so interesting, especially as someone who is like half Mexican. I don't speak Spanish very well. I understand it better than I speak it. Mostly because my dad spoke Spanish to me and my sister like pretty much the whole time that I was growing up, and then we never answered him back, which is like, how was I supposed to know as a child that that would fuck me over and make it harder for me to like communicate with my family when I'm an adult? It's one of those things like, and you go on Duolingo and you try to do your best, but it's still, not the same as if you like grew up like fluently speaking. So, all that being said, I have a lot of feelings when I read this book. Especially as someone like my dad is currently living in Mexico now. And I haven't seen him in a while because even though he did become a citizen while I was growing up, it's still not safe here for him to come back at all. So it just fucking sucks, and just everything that is going on with ICE and with our president and his, constant villainization of anybody, Latino at all. This book is incredibly timely, and it already is incredibly good, and it's giving me a lot of like Gothic feelings too. It's giving me a lot of like really good like magical realism mixed with Gothic mixed with horror. So I'm loving this so far. It's just taking me a little bit longer to read, I think, because it is hitting home so much. But it has a lot to do with like grief and stuff, grief and depression. There's a lot going on in this book. It's a meaty read, which I love. But in between reading that, I've been reading The Weight of Her on my Kindle. It is a sequel. One of my model friends wrote a book from the perspective of someone in my kink community. And I would say that if you are not really interested in anything that has to do with like fat fetishism, fat admiration, or feeding someone food and stuff, or if you have like histories of like eating disorders, or if you have weird feelings around those things in general, this book is about that. It is And that's why I love it, because that's my kink, and I understand if you don't like it, then that's well within your right. But I am going to talk about it, not in depth, but just kind of the themes of the book. So basically, the first book is about a girl. It is like kind of a college lacrosse dark romance, but with the perspective of someone who has this kink. And it's so fun and interesting because you don't see books, kinky books even, about this niche, this very niche fetish, that is just played so straight and like so normally. Like there's so many books out there for like God knows how many weird kinks, that are just like regular dark romance, sports romance, toxic relationship romance, like that are just so fucking fun, and I read them, but I can't really relate to them because one, I'm queer. Like a lot of these books are not queer normative. They're super heteronormative is what I'm trying to say. And a lot of the times, even the stuff that is kind of more queer or a little bit more funky in regards to kink or power dynamics, I have this kink that is not represented, and I don't need to read about it all the time, but it's really nice when it is represented because then I get to get titillated, like God forbid. So the book is basically that. It is like a fun little dark romance romp, and this is the sequel of it. So it is just super fun. It's chunky. It's like 500 pages long. I get to read it on my Kindle. I get to read my smut on my Kindle. Isn't that so much fun? And I'm having a blast. I think I'm already 20% of the way into it, and I started like maybe yesterday or the day before. 23% of the way. I'm on chapter 9. So yeah, the book is basically about this girl Juno who breaks up with her boyfriend, or at least the first book. She had just broken up with her boyfriend and meets this kind of tortured soul named Dylan, who is a star lacrosse guy, but he has a secret, and his secret is that he loves chubby women and he loves to feed them. And he feels incredible shame about this. He thinks that he's a monster and that it's nobody is that Juno isn't safe around him because she is like the girl of his dreams, right? And it is this kind of almost push and pull of competing desires of, Juno wanting to be desired, wanting to be seen, wanting to be loved, and Dylan wanting to fulfill his kink and have this connection with like his dream girl, but also not knowing necessarily how to do that because he's never indulged in this kink before and he has so much shame wrapped around it. So it's just like really interesting on that level, but also it's just like a fun, silly little ride, And it's written by someone who is actually in the community and understands what is hot about it, understands what is complicated about it, and understands how to like play with that so that basically a lot of like the bad stereotypes that people have about this kink, in that it's all toxic men who want to force this kink onto unsuspecting women, which is not true. There's a lot of fat people who like other fat people who are into this kink, and they're both 100% willing participants, let me tell you. But yeah, so basically, all that being said, she takes that trope of kind of like this toxic relationship and turns it into a dark romance. It's genius. It's so good. I love it. If you're into that stuff, read it. But if you're not into that stuff, don't read it and don't be a hater. Okay? I'm sorry, but I saw someone on Storygraph already rating it low and saying that the characters were not likable. And it's like, I know what you are. I know what you are. You don't have the kink. You think this is problematic. Just because it's not for you, don't necessarily, if it's, sorry, I'm getting on a rant. If it's not for you, then don't, and you don't think that you're going to like it, then maybe don't read it. Anyways, I'm having so much fun. Okay. I'm having a lot of fun and don't come for my fun. But yeah, anyways, that's what I'm reading right now. I have a couple other books on my TBR. Basically, I pulled a couple cards for my June TBR for the tarot game that I'm doing. And so one of them is Honeycut, which is another kink romance, but this one is specifically like poly BDSM kind of vibes. It is a love triangle that will eventually turn into a throuple that is set in a kind of mafia-esque kink club, and it is a retelling of the myth of Tristan and Isolde. Very fun, and it's written by Sierra Simone, who is my favorite erotica writer ever. She wrote Saint, which is one of my favorite books ever. And then I'm also have A Spell for Heart Sickness by Alistair Reeves. And these are both special edition books. This one is from Fake Crate and the other one was from Bookish Box. But like, they look at this like cute little print about A Spell for Heart Sickness. This is about a like cutie gay witch who wants to be a fashion designer but has to go to this small boring town in order to fix the curse that has been put on him and his family, and makes his magic like waste away basically. And he has to like, I don't know if it's specifically like True Love's Kiss is going to solve it, but there's a guy there at this small town, and it's either this grumpy mayor or this charismatic soothsayer curse breaker dude that is going to help him break this curse. So we have a fun little fantasy cozy romance, fantasy romance, cozy fantasy vibe. We have a kinky erotica romance, like spicy dark romance. And then we also have Desert Creatures, which is a post-apocalyptic kind of sci-fi fantasy set in in like the Las Vegas desert or like the Nevada desert, going to a like post-apocalyptic like Vegas cyberpunk sort of future. And then I have a couple other books. I have to read the third book in A Song of Ice and Fire series, which is Storm of Swords, I think. And then I also have to read whatever book is going to be the prompt for the month of June for Spicy Cat's Monster Romance Reading Challenge. So that's 5 books on my TBR, plus these 2 books that I'm reading right now. So this might be kind of like a packed vlog, guys. That's gonna be kind of cool. Anyways, I think I'm gonna quit while I'm ahead and stop this clip here. You get to see like some of the fun little like fair shenanigans I went on the other day right after this. And basically, I think that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoy the vlog. Be sure to like comment on anything you find fun. If you've read any of these books, let me know. If you liked them, let me know. And all that being said, yeah, I hope you enjoy. Thanks if you stuck with me this long, I appreciate you, because I've been rambling.
lighting over here just kind of sucks, but we're going to have to make do with what we've got until I get a lamp for the living room. We have yet to get a lamp for the living room. We have like a little, I don't know, like a nightlight, like a crystal nightlight situation, but that's not enough. Anyway, I'm out here because my craft room is a chaos zone, and I wanted to give a little update. I don't really have many reading updates other than like the spicy book is spicy and hot and good, and the horror book is surprisingly like more gothic than I had expected. It is a very kind of like crumbling estate, you know, like, I don't know. I don't know how much to say without giving it away other than like, the shit is good. It's good. Cairo, don't eat that. Okay. It's a little piece of card, like, I don't know. It's a little piece of paper. But, so other than that, I have a couple other updates. Basically, I was out and about running errands today, and lo and behold, I heard the sounds of a tribute band playing Sugar We're Going Down for a sound check situation. And I was like, what is that? I love Fall Out Boy. So I went and I checked it out, and there was a fun little like emo event happening. Honestly, like only in LA can you just stumble across that, right? So I wanted to show off my haul. There was literally so much there, but I was really trying to control myself. You can see I did a little bit of like, you know, B-roll and footage and stuff, but it was big. It was like way bigger than I expected. But what I got first is this short story collection called Dread Coast. I saw the author was named Indigo Halverson, and she had a cutie little booth with like a bunch of like, you know, horror novels. And the first thing I saw books. I was like, oh, interesting. And she was like, do you read horror? And I was like, yes, I do. And she showed me like all of these different horror books, but then she ended on this one, which is a short story compilation that is written all from people in the area in Southern California. And in this anthology, it is all of the proceeds for this anthology, or some of the proceeds from sales, go to support the vital work of recovering from the Palisades and Eaton fires, which is great. And there's really no overarching theme other than like these tales are set like in Southern California. And I was like, one, that sounds perfect. That's such a great cause. And two, I've been really into reading like desert horror, desert Gothic, Southwest Gothic, kind of like, you know, just since I moved here and I'm like from the Midwest, like I love me some Midwest Gothic. My family's from the South. I love me some Southern Gothic stuff. And I was like, let's kind of get into this other genre and like kind of feel into this, like, you know, location, this geography, this area, the vibe. And she was like, oh my God, yeah, this would be perfect for that. And so she wrote The Demons on Bunker Hill. So I'm excited to maybe start reading some of these, and it'll be super fun. I think I have kind of information too. Maybe I'll put it in the description, but there is a QR code, I think, to order it specifically. Yeah, so it's a charity anthology, so proceeds benefit the Los Angeles fire recovery. And it's like just a ton of authors. So yeah, and honestly, it's pretty cool looking, I must admit. So I was super excited about this. And then I also I saw a little oddities area, and I really wanted a tooth. There was teeth necklaces. So I got a little tooth necklace. This is either from a coyote or a raccoon. And honestly, I vibe with either of those animals, so I'm super happy with this. It's very much scavenger vibes. So I got a lot of like footage from her booth too. It was super cute. And then I got some stickers, and I also got my partner some earrings. They're kind of like dangly earrings that are like green, kind of freshwater pearls. So I think they liked it. And then yeah, I have these 2 stickers. Let me show you. I know I want to do a clowny kind of spread in my reading journal. So we have this, and then we have this. It's a little kitty cat in a fun house. So I thought that was really cute. And then, because I'm currently working on a project, I decided that I've been really in the mood to craft. So I am currently working on a rebind of Saint. This is the text block that I have so far. So Saint by Sierra Simone, it is like one of my absolute favorite books. I actually had sent my original copy over to like someone from Etsy to like spray the edges back when that was like a super trendy thing to do for people, a super trendy thing for people on Etsy to do. And I don't really like the quality that they did, but I thought, you know what, this is my first copy of the book. I really want to rebind it. I have like a vision of what I want the book to have on it. So yeah, I'm rebinding it. And I really wanted to do it today because I have kind of like the house to myself. So, but then I ordered on Amazon some book fabric, some like bookbinding fabric. And the fuckers said it would be here today. It would be a 1 day, like overnight delivery. It's not coming until tomorrow. And so I was like, this ruins all my plans. So as I was like in line to get into the little emo event, I was looking around for like craft stores in LA, and I found a super cool craft store, and they did have bookbinding fabric, and they had this gray, which I was specifically looking for a gray. But honestly, in like, yeah, you could see it in this lighting too. It looks way more blue than gray. Like I was told that it was like kind of a blue gray, and in the lighting of the store, I was like, oh yeah, that looks perfect. This is not exactly what I wanted, but that is okay. I'm either going to use this or I'm going to go with a black suede. I just have to figure out like what my heat transfer vinyl color situation is going to look like. I'm going to work on that. So I got this from the craft store, and then I also got some embroidery thread, different colors of green, because I have a pair of pants from Big Bud Press. They've surprisingly really generous sizing, especially for their plus sizes. So I have a pair of pants from them that are way too big. So I'm going to try to take them in myself, and I was told that embroidery thread is good for that, or at least the tutorial that I use, because I don't have like a sewing machine. So to sew by hand, these are going to be good because they're nice and strong. I also got some like really pretty colored hemp cord. And I thought maybe I could use these for bookbinding when I'm like sewing a text block from scratch. I just have to double check to see if these are particularly acidic or not, because if they're like really acidic, then it's not going to make a more long lasting end product. But they are so pretty. And then when you're like, you know, hand sewing a text block together, every so often you'll come across like the thread that you use in like as you're reading, and I thought it would be so cool to have like such a pretty little color, and it could correspond with like the color scheme of the book. So I'm gonna try to do that. And then I forgot to look for a cutting mat, specifically a Cricut cutting mat. So I had to go to Michael's. And so I went to Michael's and I got a Cricut cutting mat for my new Joy Extra. So I did that. And yeah, so I'm gonna do some crafts. I think I'm first gonna start working on the bookbind. And while I wait for things to dry, I have these denim iron-on patches. So I have these pants that I got from a plus-size vintage store in Chicago that have these like crochet appliques on the side. They're so pretty. And unfortunately, you know, the curse of the thick thighs, I have quite a big hole. That is a pretty big hole. I have quite a big hole in the thigh, and honestly this other side of the thigh is really thin too. So I'm going to try, I think these should be big enough. Yeah, I think so. So I'm gonna try to just iron on patch and like, you know, try to salvage these because they're some of my favorite pants. So I have more crafts to do after that. And then if I have extra time, if I'm feeling particularly motivated, I guess, I'll try to take in those big bud press pants and see if that works, or just, you know, try a couple times, see if I'm actually good at that. So yeah, that's my emo event haul. That is my craft store haul. And now I have mail too. This is like such a jam-packed vlog. Oh my god, you love to see it. So in a couple vlogs ago, I was talking a lot about like a particular cosplay look that I wanted to do, which was like a sacrificial lamb for one of my clips. And I needed to get a little set of lamb ears and leg warmers. And so I ordered it on Etsy for them to be made to my specifications, and it's in. So I'm so excited to see these. These are hand crocheted. Oh my god, and they look so cute and fluffy. I have frog stuff. Oh my god, it was meant to be. Dude. I've been really into frogs recently. She gave me frog barrettes. Oh, that's adorable. She also gave me, oh my god, these are like little cookie sandwiches as barrettes too. God damn, that's really cute. Okay. Here are the horns. Not the horns, but like the ears. Oh wow, that's really fucking cute. So they kind of go like this. Dude, I love this like little fabric. So they kind of go like this, and they're like ear warmers even. And then you go like that. Oh my god, that's really cute. And then I have these leg warmers to go over like my stompy boots. They're so fuzzy. Oh my gosh. So we have these, and they kind of have like the really furry little bottoms, and then these to kind of tighten them around the top. Bro. And then I also have, she gave me like a set of these like little like pom-poms to tie around, a little bow to like apply to it, and then another little bow to apply to them. I'm so excited. It's gonna be really fucking cute. I'm so excited for this look. God, yay. That is super fun. All right. My camera is not supercharged, so I don't know exactly how much bookbinding footage I'm going to get in. And honestly, I really want this bookbind to be good, so I'm thinking that I might just completely focus on that, truly. And truly not everything has to be recorded. Maybe one of these days I might feel, you know, inspired to make like another bookbinding video. But for now, I'm like really, really wanting to make this look really good and really nice. So I think I'm just gonna like lock in. But yeah, that's what I'm doing this evening. And I think that's all I have to update you on. Oh my God, I'm literally so excited. You don't even understand. Okay, and I'm also like losing light, I think. So I'm gonna get started. I'm going to officially figure out, let me see how this looks with it is kind of like a rich looking blue against this gold. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look at it under the light with the heat transfer vinyl and see how I feel. It's just, every person I ask, they're like, it's a bluish gray, but it just looks so navy blue to my eyes. But maybe that would be nice because I'm gonna be using gold. And gold and blue, like gold really does pop on blue. I don't know. I'm gonna noodle on this for a little bit more. But those are my various updates. I will update the vlog with my finished product of my bound book. And yeah. And then maybe later in the evening I'll read, if I'm not in a crafting frenzy, I'll read a little bit more. So yeah, that's my plan. All right, bye. wanted to give one last quick update for this vlog. As you can see, I've been doing a lot of crafting lately. I just got started on a new bookbind, and this is a sewn text block for my friend's first book, Weight of Him. And speaking of, I did finish Weight of Her. I finished Weight of Her, and I also finished Sundown and Ojuela, and both were pretty great. I have really nothing but good things to say about Weight of Her. It just was really fun. It was really fun. Basically everything in the first book that I had some, not even really issues with, but some like, you know, concerns about or like thoughts about were explored in this book. Things on like, you know, consent, things on like fixing a toxic relationship, basically like everything that like, I don't know, for the first book of Weight of Him, basically it's very much that stereotypical like kind of, you know, fetism relationship where the guy has, you know, the kink and the girl does not, and he is a bit of like a dark romance hero kind of guy where he is, you know, just so dark and misunderstood, and she is like vulnerable and so innocent, and so that plays kind of a little bit into the negative stereotypes of fetism being like something that, you know, a feedy or a person or a woman wouldn't want to consent to. But this book kind of, or the second book kind of threw that through a loop where like finally I almost had a spoiler, so that's why there was a cut. But in this book, they like choose to work on their relationship. They choose to like take things slow. They're like trying to figure out like what parts of the kink is for them and what isn't. It was like a lot more wholesome, I think, in some ways than the first book. And I just had so much fun and just enjoying it and reading it. So I gave that one a 4.5. It was like over 500 pages, but I still like breezed through it like so quickly. But on the other hand, Sundown in Ojuela was a little bit of a slower read. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this book. I thought the like Mexican folklore was like so intricate and interestingly done. I thought everything this book was trying to say was so important. Things on like, you know, identity and colonization and racism, like self-hatred, like all of this stuff was so good and so interesting. The idea that like someone's personal journey with their culture is so personal to them, but like the way that they choose to interact with the world isn't necessarily personal, you know, like I can't even like get into it without like going off. You know what I mean? So like it definitely affected me in a very big way, but the problem was that the pacing was just so weird. Like it was really, really, really slow. I think most of, I don't know. It's just, I think it was like, you know, a very short time span in which the setting and like the contents of this book was taking place, but we would constantly like switch back from character to character, which I thought was interesting because I thought there were some really interesting characters and like interesting kind of like, you know, worlds and like minds that we've like dipped into, but it just kind of derailed from the plot a little bit. And there are some things that we dipped into that like were a little bit harder to read in the fact that it wasn't as fun to read. It was still important. I'm talking about the cop. I'm talking about the cop. Like, he was an asshole, but like I understand why he was an asshole. Like, that was a very important part of the messaging around this book. But y'all, like, I don't know. I don't know necessarily what to rate this, because this has all of the makings of like a 5-star book for me. But this took me so long to read just because the pacing really kind of just made it a little bit harder for me to pick up. There's a lot of like back and forth between time periods, like flashbacks and flash forwards. Maybe if I were in a different headspace, and I mean, like, I'm kind of in a little bit of a reading slump right now, not gonna lie. Like, the only thing that kind of got me out of the reading slump was reading my friend's book, because that is just like a hee hee ha ha fun time, right? So I don't know. I think I might have to reread this book at a later date, or like really sit with this to decide if it's like, I can't figure out whether it's a 4, 4.5, or 4.75. I'm not sure if it's a 5-star just because of the pacing stuff. And it sounds so silly to be like, is it a 4? Is it a 4.5? Like, but like, I'm just nitpicky like that. Like, I need to put it into my storygraph. My storygraph has to know what I liked about this book. So I don't know. Maybe I'll come back to you in a different vlog and be like, actually, this book rocked. Or like, actually, I rated this a 3, you know, which I don't think that's gonna happen, but yeah, I'll let you know. If I think this is one of those times where I have to really sit with the book. That happened with this book, A Game in Yellow, where I rated it a 3.5 star because it was just like a very hard to read, in that the main character was just like really unlikable, and it made it like a slog to read. But like, I'm constantly thinking about that book. I'm constantly thinking about that book, constantly wanting to reread it, constantly like just still sucked into the idea of that story and the way that it ended, that I'm like, that's not a 3-star book. That's not a 3-star book. That's not true. Maybe it's even closer to a 5. Because like, if a book really stays with you like that, I think that's kind of like more indicative of a 5-star, right? I don't know. So we'll see if I'm like constantly thinking about this book. And if it is, then that might have a little something to say about how I feel about that book. But yeah, basically, that's kind of what I've been doing. My desk is like a whole kind of like, not as crazy messy as it has been, especially in the past couple days, but I've been crafting, let me tell you. So I ended up finishing my bookbind for Saint. Let me show you how that ended up. We have, hold on. Maybe I'll do some like B-roll, but we have this. We have a lovely little chastity cage on the side, and then little back too. I'll show you like some more kind of in-depth views of it, but it turned out really lovely. This is one of like the cleanest like rebinds of a paperback that I've done in a long, or maybe honestly ever. Like, it is so clean. I was so like on it with like my precision with this bind. The only thing that are like mistakes are just like truly like stuff with the heat transfer vinyl, or like the, you know, paper vinyl, that the printable vinyl, that I had some struggles with. It's just like purely, what is the word when it affects like the looks? Material? I don't know, but it's purely like, you know, not on a technical level. It's just, you know, there's a little dot right here or something like that. But this feels so nice, and I'm so glad I went with the blue. I think the blue looks really pretty, and I don't have a book like this, at the very least in my collection of bookbinds that I've done. And then honestly, it makes the like sprayed edges look just so much more nice, and like I don't know, it makes sense for them to be sprayed now, you know, instead of just being like a weird paperback with sprayed edges. And yeah, it turned out really nice. So I've been on a bookbinding kick, and I'm going to now work on this guy where I'm going to reinforce it with some fabric and then put on the end bands. And then honestly, that's like all I can do now until I go. I think I need to go to a UPS so I can go and use their paper guillotine, or they'll use it for me, so that all of the kind of like, you see how it's like beveled edges is what they're called, I guess, I think. Like none of the edges are like completely straight and aligned. So we're gonna cut some of it off and make it all even Stevens. And then I'm going to get started on binding binding it into the case, which is gonna be this, here. It's gonna be using this kind of like flexible chipboard. So it's going to be like this book, where it's a flexi bound book, and it's like kind of floppy, you know. It's just kind of like, see what I mean? So it's going to have like kind of the vibe of like a paperback. So that's what I'm working on now. And I am going to close out the vlog. It's still going to be a good couple of days before I finish this guy, and I might just start another vlog, and or maybe make even like, I don't know, another video specifically on this bookbinding process. We shall see, but either way, I will let you know. I will let you know how this ends and how this looks at the very end. Look at how floppy it is. Okay, I will stop. I will stop and I will let you go. But thank you guys for watching. If you are interested in like more of my shenanigans, you know, subscribe or whatever. And yeah, this was like kind of a jam-packed vlog. I had so much fun. I had so much fun at the little emo fair. I had so much fun doing my crafting stuff. So it's been a very fun, very crafty time out here. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your week. So yeah, I'll see you. Bye.